ॐ मन्नाथ श्री जगन्नाथ मद्गुरु श्री जगद्गुरुः ममात्मा सर्वभूतात्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। नमः श्री यतिराजाय विवेकानंद सूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे। Namaste everyone. As you all know, in this series of videos, we have been discussing some of the most important and inspiring teachings of Swami Vivekananda. We are discussing it at two levels. One at an individual level, how we can help us to become better, and secondly, how he is going to lead the world forward. So he has given the thoughts and he has sort of prophesied that the future world is going to be like this, and he has been termed as one of the molders of the modern world by a very famous historian, A.L. Basham. And for someone who takes a keen look at the history, we will see that Swami Vivekananda's influence is working underneath so many things, especially India, and also bringing together India and the world. So that combination of the modern science with the Indian tradition, that culture, the philosophical thought of the Vedanta, that's something Swami Vivekananda wanted to bring about. So today we see every country, every religion, every science sort of wants to claim the sole inheritance of this world. And then we'll find that someone like Vivekananda who comes and gives a place to everyone. And the holistic thing, what we get by combining all this, is what the future world is going to be like. So that's the ideal Vivekananda gives to us, and he takes the best of everything, and he recognizes each individual and gives them a push forward. That's the most extraordinary thing we have discussed earlier also, how he is everyone's friend. It was our first talk. Yesterday we had seen how we can utilize the social media for the better. We had insights from most revered Krishna Sakananji Maharaj yesterday. And today we are going to discuss another important topic, that is the leadership lessons from Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda was an extraordinary leader. You understand his leadership when you think how his influence was working even today. So don't just think Vivekananda is dead and gone in 1902. No, 100 years, 120 years have gone by since Swami Vivekananda left his body. But even today, his influence is working. And you have to go to some interior parts of India, like Madhya Pradesh, HD Kote in Mysore, and Kolkata, along. So you go to these border areas and see how Swami Vivekananda, the moment he ignited, is even today working. He was one of the most exemplary leaders that the world has ever produced. So today we are going to listen from uh, many of the participants, the dignitaries who have gone in depth to Swami Vivekananda's life and teachings. We will listen from them how Swami Vivekananda, how he defines leadership, and how he himself was a role model for all the leaders. So today in our panel we have Balaji Rajamani. We already heard him talk last couple of days. He's one of the most deep thinkers we have, and always a pleasure to have him with us. Balaji, once again, welcome you to the program. And we have Babu Amaraneni, who is the founder of Vivekavani, the social media channel, which is doing a wonderful work to spread this message of Vedanta and Vivekananda's lessons. And we have a young director with us, Praneeth Sagar from Hyderabad. Always a pleasure to see him and to listen to him. And we have Ritesh Agarwal, a young devotee, Takarji from Kolkata, a software engineer profession, but more importantly, a spiritual seeker and someone who studies Vivekananda deeply. And he himself is running some of the leadership lessons in schools and colleges. I'm looking forward to his speech. So we have a wonderful panel today. I hope you'll all be benefited by reflecting upon Swami Vivekananda's teachings. So first we'll start with Balaji Rajamani. So Balaji Rajamani, so welcome you, and we request you to kindly enlighten us with your wisdom.
Thank you, Navina, and thanks everyone. And my humble salutations at the feet of Holy Mother, Divine Mother Kali, and the Holy Trio, and Namaste everyone. And nice to see you all here again. And Today's topic, the leadership lessons from the life of Swami Vivekananda. And 10 years ago, when I created my page, I was thinking for a name. I didn't want to name it just Swami Vivekananda. So I just was planning, what could be the name, something that should be unique. The moment I think of Swami Vivekananda, what comes is a leader, is a spiritual leader. So I thought, app name will be Swami Vivekananda, the inspirational leader. And I've never changed the name. It's because the image of him with his folded hands. It was taken in Chicago. That became very famous there. So that shows the quality, that leadership that he has, the quality. Uh, Swami Vivekananda said, a leader is born. So he was a born leader, no doubt about it. And when it comes to leadership, Swami Vivekananda said, first by birth and then unselfishness, the qualities. If you are not having, a leader should not have shade of jealousy and selfishness, as said by Swami Vivekananda. It's very hard to get rid of this jealousy and selfishness. Anyone who leads will not like anyone else to come to his position. So wherever you go, in whatever it is, it's a sports team or you're working somewhere, you will surely see people, they will not like someone to come to this position very quickly, and immediately jealousy comes in, selfishness comes in. Even in Swami Vivekananda's life, we have seen that he has been a victim of many people who are jealous of him, who never wanted him to become famous in USA. So a leader should not have any trace of jealousy or selfishness. Swami Vivekananda's life is perfect example. Neither did he have jealousy nor did he have selfishness. So, what he wanted to do is he wanted to create more leaders, not followers. The great quality of a leader is he produces more leaders, but not the followers. A leader doesn't want more followers behind him, but he wants more leaders to lead. That's a real quality of. So, when you will produce leaders, when you have no selfishness. If you think someone is going ahead of you, immediately one thing comes in your mind, selfishness or jealousy, and think, oh, how can he go ahead of me? So I should stop him. I should do something to stop him. So I should be the only leader. But Swami Vivekananda was perfectly selfless. He had no trace of jealousy, of course. So he wanted to produce more leaders even then. When Sri Ramakrishna was about to attend Mahasamadhi, Swami Vivekananda was around 23 to 24. So when before his Mahasamadhi, so he was having throat cancer. He was unable to speak. He called Swami Vivekananda, Naren, to his bedside and said, he gave him a piece of paper. So it was a drawing on which it indicated that Naren should lead the monks hereafter, the brother monks, the other disciples. But Naren refused. He said, I'm not going to do it. He was firm. Usually with Ramakrishna, he used to be very simple. So he said, but Sri Ramakrishna insisted that your very bones will do it. You may not do it, but your very bones will do it. You will be a great leader. So he took it as a responsibility. And he was just 23, 24. What will we know? On that. So he was then ready to be a leader. Sri Ramakrishna had many senior disciples who were elders than Swami Vivekananda, Naren, but he asked Naren to be the leader. And Naren took the task. And Naren was ready to take up the task. He was inborn leader. He was a born leader, inborn tendency of him to lead. But how he led? Was he stern? He was. But was he loving? He was too. So that's what he said. Hard as steel and soft as flower was his motto. His motto, he was, when he had to be stern, he was stern, but his heart was always overflowing with love for everybody. So people had to respect him. At the same time, they had that fear, and whenever he gave some, that he looks for the discipline, obedience. So if you have obedience, he will do anything. So otherwise, he will become stern with you. So a leader should actually not should not just produce followers. He will produce more leaders. So even Swami Vivekananda will call his brother monks early and said, tomorrow you're going to speak. And that brother monk said, no, I don't know anything, Swamiji. Go and preach that. We don't know anything, go and talk about it. Because He didn't want them to be, just followers. He wanted to create more leaders out of them. And the respect he had among even those, the inner circle disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, who were much elder than Swami Vivekananda, Naren, had great respect for Naren because of his leadership quality. He was perfectly selfless. You would have seen. So everything earned was not for himself. It was for Ramakrishna's words. Those words, he imbibed them in his heart. So he went wherever he went, even whatever he earned, right? He wrote once letter to Raja of Khetri that whatever I have earned here in USA out of my lectures, that's for work. Means Ramakrishna's work for Belur Math. So he didn't even keep it for himself. So he was, he took up to the task and he moved forward. He was always in a position to create brother monks. He always inspired them. A leader will set himself as an example before others. He will not just say, you have to do this today, you have to meditate today, you have to go and live lecture today. He will live that life. He will show them what he has to do. So he lived the life and set an example. If you just go and tell people, say, I'm the leader, I'm the boss, I'm the boss. So you have to say what I have to say, what I say, you got to do here, no option. Narayan was not like that. Narayan went ahead, showed in his life, right? Showed as he became an example before others. See, once he said that, everyone should wake up at 4 in the morning and go and meditate in the chapel. So once he woke up at 4 in the morning, and in fact, he slept very late, but he didn't care. He went at 4 and went and saw in the chapel, no one was there. None of the brother monks was there. Before that, he was sick, so suddenly he went and checked there. None of them was there. So he became stern. Because see, he was sick, still went to meditate because he is the leader. He has to lead. Doesn't matter. He has to go and lead them. So if none of them was there. So immediately he said that everyone has to go and collect alms that day. They won't get food in the monastery or in the Belur Math, so they had to go out. So everyone went out, including Swami Brahmananda. So everyone had to go out, and he felt bad for Brahmananda, but Brahmananda got the alms. So he was so happy. He loved Brahmananda so much, Swami Brahmananda. But it was Swami Shivananda who was much elder than Swami Vivekananda. Even he went to his room and said, I know you have attained self-realization by the grace of Sri Ramakrishna, but that doesn't mean that you have to be, I know you're not well too. You have to set an example before others. So if you go and meditate as a senior, everyone will follow you. So kindly request you to do this. So since then, Swami Shivananda, until he attained Mahasamadhi, even if he was sick, he will sit at early morning, he will 4 o'clock wake up, and sit on his bed and meditate even when he was sick. His words had such power. He said something, next minute they will obey. That's the quality of a leader. Is not just go and command and say, I have done, you have to do this. Nowadays, where's the leader? Leaders are just, they give you command, they say, I order you, you have to do it, and I'm the boss, you got to obey your boss. But Swami Vivekananda didn't act like a boss. His heart was overflowing with love, and though he was stern, the moment he come to know that some brother monk is sick, he will feel restless. You will become restless. You will immediately you will not settle until he heard that monk is fine. Anyone, not only brother monk, any disciple. So he appears stern outwardly, but internally, inside, he was so soft that he cannot bear anyone's sufferings. That's the quality of a leader. Outwardly, they will be stern. Inwardly, they will be so loving and kind. That's what the quality of Swami Vivekananda that we should learn. And see how selfless he kept nothing for himself. He wanted his brother monks to achieve something greater. He always encouraged them to achieve something greater. He always encouraged them to go and give lectures. He always encouraged them to meditate, and he also encouraged them to do selfless work for others. He himself, see, once there was a famine, and I think plague, at the time of plague, I think so. He needed money. He was about to sell the Belur Math. He was about to sell then Holy Mother interfered and said no. Then he received money by the grace of God. Many donated, but he was even ready to sell the Belur Math. That's an example of selflessness. He was selfless, and when a leader is such selfless, and when a leader becomes an example before you, you will definitely obey. See, if a leader is doing something and its words and actions don't match, No one will even they might obey out of fear, but they will not have that respect and that encouragement or inspiration. But Swami Vivekananda's words, actions matched. His purity was power, and he had that leadership power in him. And usually in Belur Mat, you will be on the first floor. So when he comes down, the moment they hear his footsteps, the brother monks will, have that respect. Immediately they get up. Only his mom had that, without fear. She's mom, obviously. She'll go running and she'll call him and she will walk with him. But that was because they were not afraid of Swami Vivekananda. They were more, the leaders will gain respect. They will not create fear or panic in the hearts of followers. They'll create that respect, and the respect will come out of their own actions. If a leader is following and saying something and following something else or doing something else, nobody will respect them. They might be afraid because he is a leader, and due to that might be consequences. But Swamiji set an example. He was, his words and actions matched, and he lived the life actually exactly what a leader should be. So, and even I just want to say, I heard once in Abdul Kalam, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. So what he did is, once he was in ISRO, so he was there was some mission, so rocket mission, so that failed. And what happened is, when he had to go, and give a talk in the press conference, his leader, the boss will be there. He said, stopped him and said, "I'll take the responsibility." He went and said, "I take the responsibility of this failure." But next time, when it was a success, the boss said, he asked Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam to go and give the press conference. Take the no, you take the responsibility of success. That's a leader. But he himself, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam himself, said this in one of the meetings. So I heard of it. Naren was, Swami Vivekananda was same. So he always took responsibility of everything. And, he also, a leader should not treat one superior and one inferior. And rich or poor, Swamiji didn't care. He treated all equal. For him, all were equal. If it is wrong, it's wrong. If it's right, it's right. That's what he was. He didn't have this hypocrisy of treating one because he's rich. He treated differently. He treated everybody equal. For him, there is no distinction. Everyone was equal for him. Whoever comes to meet him, he will meet them, whoever it is. And in fact, even when he was sick, he was not able to even get up from bed, or he was very sick. When he didn't rest, when people come, he will say, "Let them in. I'm ready to talk to them. If I'm not going to help them out, who is going to help them out?" So that's the leader. Leader was always ready to go and take the responsibility. And Swami Vivekananda always took responsibility on his shoulders. He always defended his brother monks, guided them. He always guided them. And he always wanted to see them achieve something. A leader is such a one who always wants his followers to achieve. He will never think, "Oh, he's going ahead of me, I should stop them." Even when Swami Vivekananda, before attending Mahasamadhi, what he said, the bigger tree will not allow the smaller trees to grow. So the bigger tree has to grow. Means I want my disciples to grow. If I'm there in my shadow, they cannot grow. So I will leave, then they will grow. But did he leave? He left physically, but his soul, spirit will always be with those disciples. He was guiding them always. Still, he is guiding everyone who was in need of. So the great quality of leader is selflessness and lack of jealousy. Actually, these selfishness is hard to get rid of, and jealousy is also hard to get rid of. But if you are able to, you are a leader. And how to become a leader? It's always, you got to give up your ego. The ego should be completely crushed under the feet. As long as you have ego, you can't be a real leader. But when the ego is crushed, you are. When you are selfless, when you always care for others, you get divine grace. Then you will become a leader. You will become that power to guide others. You can get that power to guide others. You can get the source of power to guide others, to pull others upward. So that's what Swamiji did. In most of his life incidents, all followers, those who followed him, he always wanted them to grow. And he has never said nobody can become Swami Vivekananda. That's the leadership. He said, if you can believe that you have that infinite power and energy within you, and you can bring out that power, you can also become like me. You will also become like Swami Vivekananda. That's what the leader said. A leader never says you will not become like me. He says he will encourage you to become like. He will like to see you become a leader. So that quality Swamiji had. And I know if we can see that throughout his life and throughout from the day he went and met Sri Ramakrishna. Even in childhood, he will when he played. Childhood is one of his childhood plays will be like king. He will be the king, and other will be the ministers, and he will always play the role of the king. Even in school, he will be the boss. Everyone will listen to him. So he had that personality, magnetic for leadership quality. Everyone listened to him. So he always had from the childhood, but throughout his life, he was a leader. He was the leader. He always led and became an example before others, and he is an example before us too. Thank you, and others are waiting too. I'll give the opportunity to others. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Navina.
Pranit will speak.
Uh, so many personality, starting from childhood and
Navina, I'm sorry, the voice is breaking.
am I audible?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, the unselfishness that you mentioned that underlies the whole philosophy of Swami Vivekananda's leadership. Be a servant if you want to lead. Now, those he was himself a glowing example of that. So he stands out as an eternal leader for all of us. So it was so nice listening to you, and we will get back to you with some questions later. Thank you. And now we have the next speaker, Praneeth Sagar. He's from Hyderabad. He's a very young dynamite. Swami Bodhamayananji always speaks of him very highly. So I myself, very influenced by him, very inspired by his work. A lot of his videos and small movies he makes. Everything is full of energy, bubbling with joy and enthusiasm. So with great aspirations also. He's a wonderful young man. So it's so nice to have him with us and to listen from him what he understands by Swami Vivekananda's leadership lessons. So Praneeth, we welcome you and over to you.
Thank you so much, Anna. And I'm so grateful that I'm here and sharing my experience with all of you. I feel so grateful for Swamiji that he entered into my life and like a lot of changes happened. So before I'm sharing something about my incidents, let me make it very clear that whatever I'm sharing, I'm not sharing to get name or fame because Swamiji says if you need name or fame or if someone wants you to talk about you, that there is a secret that you should not tell about yourself. So even if I tell about myself, that doesn't mean that I'm going to tell or praise myself. Purpose is to teach the importance of Swami Vivekananda's message. That's what my ultimate purposes. So let me start with his childhood. This thing uh, in Swami Vivekananda's childhood stories, I read that Swamiji helps a British person who is injured. So from that thing, it impacted my mind a lot. That okay, even if someone is in need, even if he may be a good person or bad person, you need to help that. So Swamiji is having the tremendous leadership qualities that you are not looking that whether he is beneficial for you or not. It is that his unselfish attitude and that maturity in his childhood that when someone is suffering and he needs you and he even can't ask you help, but still Swamiji goes and helps him. That indirectly teaches me a lot that you should be ready to serve others even if they are not able to ask you, or even if they don't know how to ask, you still need to be ready to serve others. So you need to use your awareness and consciousness that okay, is there anyone that I can help and serve in the most possible ways. So I'll share my few examples that how this impacted my life and journey. I'll share from my intermediate. In intermediate, I was just a follower. I was following everything, whatever others were doing in this world. I was following, and I was just like a sheep. Has Swami Vivekananda's story is there on lion and sheep. I was just following. Everyone are doing, so I'm also doing. So if people are not doing, I'm also not doing. I was just like a follower. Then Swamiji entered into my life. I read a lot of stories about him. I read his quotes and I digested, understood his these things. Then something tremendous happened. So from there, Swamiji says that uh, God is in every human being. So I started thinking more about that. And now, how can I bring that in practical life? So when I was going to Ramakrishna Mutt in Hyderabad, I was seeing the Swamiji and doing pranams, and I was also seeing the watchman. There were a lot of watchmen there, and like security persons. I was doing the namaskar with the same intention which I was doing with Swamiji, and the results I received from them was like so divine, and I was like experiencing that thing. If I was doing before my intermediate, before Swamiji enters into my life, I used to feel ashamed, like why I'm doing to a normal person. So that was almost impossible for me. But when Swamiji gave me a clarity that there is no higher this thing or lower this thing, it may be in the physical world or material world, but in a deeper sense, there's a God in every human being. So that gave me tremendous clarity. So I don't know what their financial status is. I don't know what their surroundings are or their past, present, future. It is very real that inside them there is a God. So I'm doing to him. So that really pays off to me a lot. That now all the persons reminds me, and they will get a joyful face whenever they see me, and obviously I'll also get that expression because that comes from inside wholeheartedly. It's not just a random namaskar or pranam. It really comes from inside, so I really enjoy that. And um, in college, in the beginning itself, I'm the only person who met everyone in the classroom. There were 63, and there was a this thing that there's a call that someone has to be a CR, and everyone was like saying that okay, Pranit is the right person, he can do it. But I don't know. I did nothing for them because it's the starting of the college. But still, they chose me. Why I'm sharing this? Because the principles which I used, that kindness, that humanity towards others, or like having a smile always irrespective of my personal problems or whatever it may be, uh, they feel comfortable actually whenever I see or they see me. I listen to them, that what they are saying, what their this thing is, which really makes the other person very comfortable. I think that's why they were saying that, but still I said no because I was doing volunteering service, so I can't do justice to both things. So I didn't choose that. Then what happened in Ramakrishna Mutt also, I got many opportunities to take leadership. I was like guiding to them when I was making small videos from a small short mobile phone. No one was there, but I had that quality that okay, even if no one is there, I am there. I am there for myself. So I started with children, small children. Then I made it. Everyone got some faith. Then people started believing that okay, he's doing something good. So they also started. Then now a big production company came and approached that okay, you are good, you are doing good. Like we give you a chance so you can make videos. So now the trained persons, a production house, a quality camera person, everything is coming. See how this is happening because the faith which I am having, that okay, whatever I'm doing it for others. If I do not believe in this thing, which Swamiji says that like have faith in yourself, right? So that makes whole world at your feet. So I'm so excited that having that much power just by having faith on yourself is like something tremendous. So I had that faith, and even in that production house, everyone used to like the process which I used to work. I'll share my one example. uh, like Swamiji used to work a lot and lot. Swamiji said that if I get a chance, I'll sleep for 6 months. That was so inspiring in my mind that okay, he's sharing the human possibilities, that how much a person can work. So one day what happened, the time is less, and production house gave me limited time that I need to complete the project. And I was working on it, and I started at night, and early morning, my mom woke up and she said that, Pranit, you're still awake. It's 4 a.m. in the morning. And I was like shocked. I was still active. I'm still consciously working on my project, but still no tiredness, nothing, because I took complete responsibility that, okay, it is my responsibility. I am responsible for something. My production house money is money, so it is very valuable. I took responsibility, so I need to do justice. And director, I was the director, so director takes the captainship of that this thing, so I was taking that responsibility. Like that, there are a bunch of examples where I got succeeded in my life, just because understanding Swamiji and learning from Swamiji. Swamiji says that it is easy to uh, take the place of a leader, but very hard to take the place of a servant. So we need to understand that leadership is very easy to like command someone, but being servant is somewhat difficult, because ego comes in, and it takes the place that I'm not here. But let me tell you that if you are in the right satsang, then your ego comes down automatically. So that's why it is very important that we should have that satsanga, great satsanga, because when I'm outside the Ramakrishna Mat, I become egoistic. When I'm inside the Ramakrishna Mat, I'm one with everyone. So there is no ego, there is no clash, there is no differentiate, there is no comparison in my world. But the moment when I comes out from the Ramakrishna Mat, everything starts comparison and all these things. So I realized that, okay, the persons which I'm being with and I'm surrounded by them means a lot and matters a lot in my life. Till a time means unless I train my mind, I need them. After that, no matter wherever I am, the formulas are same. So life truths are same. So that works. Yes, I hope my this thing helped or gave you an idea that how Swamiji impacted my this thing through his leadership and great work. So yeah, I end here, and I thank everyone, all the great members here, and all the viewers for giving me this opportunity and listening to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pranit. I always enjoy watching you and listening to you. Your speech reminded me of one interpretation of Swami Vivekananda and the Raja Yoga Patanjali Sutras. He says, to the yogi, everything is blissful. Every human face he sees brings happiness to him. Every human face he sees brings happiness to him. And he says, this is the sign of a virtuous man. I just tell you, because it's a wonderful thing you told. Like when you salute these watchmen or people who do lower works, the esteem they get is something extraordinary. One incident happened in my life. I read this in the night, this particular sentence, and I was very inspired that I wanted to give a smile to everybody, irrespective of whatever they do. I took an auto, I went someplace. There was no change with me for 500 rupees. I had to give some 100 rupees to that auto person. Then I was really not knowing what to do because there was no shop there. One cobbler shop I found. Then this statement was in my mind because last night I had read. So with a full joyful face, with so much of respect, I asked that lady, "Do you have change for 500 rupees?" She didn't have change, but because I greeted her so well, she took the money from me. She went to another shop. She got me the change. This really works. So this idea of recognizing God is very important. In Vivekananda's teachings, we should always be aware of this particular thing. That is, you should become more and more conscious of this in our life. That is to consciously practice seeing God in everyone. That is the highest end of sadhana also. And this is given to us by all the great masters. And it's so wonderful that you brought it out. Especially, I'm very, really touched by your gesture that you took the same way you did pranams to Bodhamayananji, the same respect you had for that watchman is really extraordinary. And Maharaj always spoke highly about you. Now I understand why he speaks so highly about you. So always wonderful to have you, Pranit. So thanks a lot for your wonderful and lively insight. And also the work thing you mentioned, hard work. It's always the thing. A leader has to work very hard. It cannot be very, you know, convenient, but that pain has to be taken. So thanks for that point also. So thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Now we have another distinguished speaker. It is Sachin Thakur. He is the founder of a software company, AAA Solutions. So they work to give the highest quality of service. And Sachin Thakur is a wonderful thinker, very deep thinker, and I always look forward to listen to him. And he's also running a lot of leadership lessons to the children. He's building the leaders basically. I really like this idea. I think he's going to enlighten us about that also in the future. So today we listen from him what he understands by these leadership lessons of Swami Vivekananda and what he reads from them from Swami Vivekananda's life. Sachin Thakurji, we are so happy to have you here. So over to you. You are muted. You are muted.
Sorry. Yeah, leader is usually not known. I mean, the quality of a leader is not known when he's running an organization and he's alive. The real quality of a leadership is known when, when you observe how that organization is running when he's not around. If you see an example here, Swamiji left us at the age of 39. And the organization that he formed are doing wonders today. Okay, there is a very rare, there are very rare such examples where you have organizations running for more than 40, 60, 70, 80, 100 years. I mean, one amongst them is the Tatas that we know about. But most of the organizations you will see they run for 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, over 3 or 4 generations, and then they are not found. So this is a mark of a true leader, that I'll lead when I'm alive, but I'll also lead when I'm not around. Okay, I think the single most important thing to take from Swamiji is that in case, and this is for future leaders who think that they can form an organization, do something, whether it is a profit making organization or an NGO, either way, do something so that the organization runs without you. That is one of the most important leadership and management lesson that we can learn from Swamiji. And if we can just take the journey of how RKM was formed and what all went through Swamiji's mind, after Thakur passed away, he roamed around the entire India to actually identify or meet people and understand their problem. When he roamed around, he realized how how difficult people were in. I mean, what kind of difficulty people were in. Okay, the end masses were poor, neglected. Okay, not fed properly, and of course, we had the colonial rule. So he realized that this is something which he can improve upon. This is where he can serve. Given an opportunity, okay, he went to America, but before that he had actually realized his vision. The vision was to preach unto mankind their divinity so that the emancipation of masses can happen. And when he got an opportunity, he went to America. He was uh, with the message of Vedanta that he had spread. He ensured that he aroused enough attention in America so that the Indians start following him. It is a very hard fact, but it is a fact that when you are in your hometown, in your home country, you try to do something, people don't recognize you. When you go out and you do something, you achieve something, you will see people acknowledging your achievements, which is a very ironical situation, but that is how the fact is, which is what he did when he came back. He realized when he was in the West that the spirituality of the East and the organization power of the West has to come together, has to meet. for the upliftment of India. And on 1st of May 1897, he formed Ramakrishna Mission. If you all remember, some of his brother disciples were not very convinced with his ways. They thought that Thakur had given us spirituality, we are religious people, our job is to spread religious message. Why do we get into such an organized way of doing things? Correct? He had those leadership qualities to convince his brother disciples that you did not understand Thakur's message. The Thakur's message was Shivagyane Jivaseva, right? Which can be only attained if we do it in an organized manner, right? And what was that organization power? He not only formed that, he in fact within 5 years of forming that organization, he was no more with us. But look at the work: 200 plus centers across world, employing 8,000 plus people across the world, lakhs of volunteers, and RKM Ramakrishna Mission impacting crores of people around the world. Crores. Okay, that was the kind of impact. And if we study this, that what was the reason behind his success? It was servant leadership. I think all of the speakers before we spoke of the servant aspect. You have to be a servant. It is a servant leadership, servant of servants. And in fact, this servant leadership concept was emanated sometime in 1970s in the corporate world by management experts. But Swamiji found it 80 years ago, not only found it, executed it, and gave an example for everyone to follow. Right? Now, what is this? If you try to understand what is this servant leadership basically is where a leader expresses his penchant for spirituality. It manifests in empathy, compassion, love, and concern for others. A true servant of servants. The very purpose of serving people aspires him to lead. Why did he lead? Did he want to be a leader? He wanted to be very renowned. The purpose of his being leader was to serve others. And that was so strong that made him lead. And most importantly, in servant leadership, you discard the top-down hierarchical approach. You don't push things. Okay? You don't have, there's less of institutional power, but more of love. Right? Such was the impact that he had on Ramakrishna Mission. Of course, he is leader to all of us, all devotees, all people who follow him. But understand one thing, like Thakur had 16 disciples, right? Now they actually had then multiple hundreds of thousands of lakhs and crores of followers. Similarly, he organized this Ramakrishna Mission, after which people have started very dedicatedly following the Trios philosophy, following Swamiji. Imagine a world where only Swamiji would have been there, some books would have been there, but there would have been no Ramakrishna Mission, no organized effort. Right? So today he is leader for all of us, but that is via Ramakrishna Mission. Okay. And my last thing, I would just like to read one phrase here, which I came across. It's a beautiful one. Just 1 minute. Yeah, two things. He had written to Alasinga Perumal in 1894 from Chicago. Do not try to lead your brethren, but serve them. The brutal mania for leading has sunk many a great ship in the waters of life. Okay. And the crux of his movement was he found more satisfaction in giving than in receiving, in persuading than in coercing, in motivating than in commanding. As he exercised accountability and activism in service to his followers. I would just request you all to go through this book. This is Vivekananda, a Born Leader by Asim Chaudhary. Okay, at your convenience, you may want to go through it. Especially people, it is a good book for every one of us, but especially for people who are into the corporate world, into management, this is a must read. That is all that I have from my side, Navina brother. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Sachin Taka brother. It was always a pleasure to present you very deep insights, especially this idea of servant leadership, which people are talking about a lot today, including Gandhi started to speak about it, and also the trusteeship. Whatever the wealth that is given to you is not for you. You are being given that so that you can distribute to others. So Vivekananda, he says, wealth, whatever knowledge, wisdom, whatever nature gives to us is not for our own gratification, but for distribution. So when Swami Vivekananda himself, he had such a wisdom, whatever he could have done, he wanted to do, he could have done it, but that he always kept it for distribution to the entire mass. And Yasmin rightly said, karma bhakti jnana trishula dharana chedana jiva moha bandha. So Swami Vivekananda, he had that karma, bhakti, jnana, everything, but he gave to all of us so that whatever the bondage we find ourselves in can be removed. So thanks a lot for wonderful insights about leadership, Swami Vivekananda, especially the point you mentioned, whether you live or die, so that organization has to continue. We see from Vivekananda, one of his letters, I think he wrote probably to Ramakrishna Nanji, I think so, this one. So he says this specifically, set up such a machine as will go on automatically, no matter who dies or lives. What a wonderful thing to say that is. We always want everything to die with us. There are people like that. We have a tendency like that. We want everything to live or die with us only. So we would want that permanently. So Swami Vivekananda, this particular thing is says we suffer from the great defect. We cannot make a permanent organization, and the reason is that we never like to share power with others and never think of what will come after we are gone. So this is such an important thing. As you said rightly, whether it's a profitable organization or non-profit organization, it's very important that we set up a machinery as that it will go on automatically by itself, no matter who lives or dies. So thanks a lot for giving extraordinary insight into this leadership. Yeah.
Yeah, Navina, just one point. Not to take away any leadership qualities of the Tata group, okay? But if you remember his meeting with Jamshedji Tata when he was on board a ship, okay, the kind of guidance that he had given, okay, the entire Tata group, because we deal with a lot of Tata group companies, and of course we are associated with RKM also. The sadhus here and the top management there believes that today's legacy of Tata Group, I mean, there's a lot to do with Swamiji's guidance to Jamshedji Tata in that meeting. No wonder the organization is surviving for more than 100 years, I think 125 plus years. And I am sure it is going to go a long, long, long way. So that's, I mean, while we spoke of Ramakrishna Mission being survived, everybody would say, yes, there was a spiritual push, there was something that happened, etc. But here is a real corporate world who is, I mean, maybe employing what, 20, 30 lakhs employees across India or across the world and serving us today. So just wanted to bring that point as well.
Yeah, it's wonderful to note that. Uh, so we have Babu Amaraneni with us, who is the founder of Vivekvani. So he's going to have some insights on this topic. You are muted. Babu, you are muted. You are muted. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Last year during Swami Vivekananda Jayanti, we conducted an online competition, video competition. From the video competition, we selected the top 20 participants and we organized an online interactive program with Swami Vivekananda Maharaj. In that interaction, one little girl asked a question, put a question to Swami Vivekananda Maharaj. She asked, Maharaj, I want to be the Prime Minister of India. What should I do? Then everyone started laughing. Again, she added one more point. Maharaj, I want to be the Prime Minister of India and serve my people. Then everyone took it a little seriously. Maharaj, Then Maharaj said, that is a good aim to have, that you want to serve the people, that is the good thing. But at the same time, why you need the title of the prime minister or the position of the prime minister? You can serve. Why you need a position of prime minister? To serve your friends and your juniors. For suppose you fifth grade student doesn't need a professor from Harvard or anywhere to teach them. So you can teach those kids and serve them, and after that you can serve your parents, then your village people, then your district, state. So the moment you start serving them, those whatever the titles, positions, they have to follow you. You should never follow Swamiji. Swamiji always said our motto is Atmano Mokshatam Jagat Hitaya. Okay. These two are complementary. The moment we start serving people and seeing God everywhere, that's where that's where we can ourselves grow spiritually. For suppose if you look at the life of Mahatma Gandhi, he never chased any titles or any positions. He even renounced the membership of Congress. Those all, but Congress always followed him because he is the one who has the truth in him. It is the truth that made the people follow him. Even if even the world today only remembering and worshipping the leaders who have served the world the most. Suppose even after so many centuries, we are still remembering Swami Vivekananda, Adi Shankaracharya, Gautam Buddha, but none of us know who is the richest person, who is the king in the kings in the 15th century. So there is a quotation of Swami Vivekananda also. He says, "The leaders of our societies have never been either generals or kings, but rishis." It is always the people who have the heart. And in a way, leadership is not an act or title or a position. It's an attitude and the character. So you can start doing it in little things also. For suppose we all know, many of us here also knows Vinayak Dada. He never waited for funds or anything to start serving. After completing IIT IEM, he wanted to serve. He started with zero. He has selected 3 kids from the road itself. He started an NGO and start serving, and taking tuitions. He started the NGO. Now it is bringing light into the lakhs of children's life. So once we have the truth within us, the feeling of unselfishness and the feeling of oneness, even even if you are sitting in mountains or anywhere, even the thoughts of that person will lead the humanity towards freedom and God. So this is what I want to say. We never have to change the world or trying to lead the world. The moment we have the truth within us, it, it automatically leads others also towards freedom and God. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Babu, for pointing out that we can start from wherever we are and however small the work could be. It's very important. People always think of big things. Nobody thinks of small things. But every big thing starts with small thing only. Swami Vivekananda always used to say, do what you can wherever you are. Start from wherever you are. Gradually, you'll find your feet. He exactly said these words. So today we have come to almost the end of this session. One point I would like to add on leadership. Swami Vivekananda, he was a great personality. His knowledge and wisdom knew no bounds. Yet he was a very practical man, and that practicality, especially when you observe these Westerners, he says that how is the 30 million Englishmen rule 300 million Indians? He asked this question to us. What's the psychological explanation of this? Then he says it is the power of organization. So that is one thing Swami Vivekananda wanted us to organize, to found societies, and to go to work. And he wanted to have an organization in every village where people come together, the coordination of wills has to take place. So Swami Vivekananda, even if the future of India depends entirely on this, that is organization. So this is one thing that we should not forget. So we organize for some marriage programs or any birthday parties. We do organize. Only that we do not organize on a social scale. There are so many wonderful things we can do just by combining. It's quite a pity because we organize well. I see. I don't want to so those specifically point out any group, but I know people who can organize so well a New Year party. It happens, and they do come up with they raise a lot of funds for Ganesha festival. You'll be astonished the amount of fund they raise to celebrate. Okay, I don't say that, but capacity, but same is not sacrifice towards nation building. I tell you, an example, this place called Mysore, just about 10 minutes from Mysore, but very bad. I've been traveling in this road for just in touch, but it's not a thing. It's both a positive.
Navina, your audio is little getting disturbed.
Okay, better.
Slightly better. Slightly better.
I think I so audible.
We have a question here. We will take Balaji brother. I request Balaji brother to ask this, answer this
Yes.
question. Is
Yes,
Ricky
sir.
Kumar Shah is asking, sir, I am a student and I want to ask that how can I fix my mind in study only and get success in it? Please guide me. That is the question.
Yeah, good one. So I should have known the secret in my school days, but now, so I'll tell you. See, suppose you have a goal and it is so intense in your heart that you have to achieve it. If you're so serious about it, if it's a burning passion in your heart that you have to achieve it, you need not fix your mind forcibly. That very passion in your heart will make you to do it, and it will not even let you sleep. So, it will force you to do it. So, when you think that you still couldn't concentrate on your study, that means you are still not that serious about your goal. If you are that passionate, if you think that is your life and you got to achieve it, if you're so determined to get that goal and you are so determined to achieve it, that will not let you to rest, and that will force you, and you cannot even rest, or you cannot keep your mind away from it. Day and night you are going to think about it. As Swamiji has said, day and night think of it, day and night think of it, and out of it come great work. Because if that is your goal, you can never miss it. You cannot feel lazy, or you cannot feel that you cannot concentrate. That very passion in your heart, that fire, will not let you to even divert. It will not let you to rest. It will force you to do it. So what you do is develop that passion in you. Or if you feel it hard, wake up in the morning and do that self assertion that I am going to focus. For close your eyes in the morning, early morning, when you wake up, one secret tell you, when you wake up, the first few thoughts that come in, that will determine the whole life. If you are going to think of the previous days, all bad things that happened, the whole day you will feel miserable. If you think about, you're not going to think about the previous day, you're going to think that today is going to be awesome. It will be awesome. What you fix your mind upon. So when you wake up, close your eyes and do the self assertion that I'm going to achieve it. This is my goal. No matter what happens today, I'll keep my mind fixed on that, on my book. I'm going to study. I'm going to achieve it. Nothing can stop me, and I'm powerful. I can do anything I want. So keep this in your mind. Early morning, just do this assertion, and then see how things go. And even before you're focusing on your book or study, just close your eyes and say I'm going to do it. This is my goal. I have to achieve it. I have no other option. This is what I want to achieve. So this I will achieve. So for that, I have to study. I have no other option. So fix your mind on it. And there's something called manifestation. Imagine that you have already achieved it. See, if you have a goal, see, if you're someone has for competitive exams, I think. So I'll start imagining where you will be once you clear the exams, where you'll achieve success. Already start imagining and thank God or universe, thank you. I'm going to achieve it. Nothing can stop me. And if you are that determined, if that is your power manifestation, if you are going to think about it day and night, how can that let you rest? That will force you to wake up, that will force you to study. So what you do is do self-assertion before you study, or when you wake up, immediately after you wake up, close your eyes for at least 3-4 minutes. Say, today is going to be a fruitful day. I'm going to focus on my studies. I have no other option. I need to achieve this goal, and I will achieve it. I can do it. I'm not going to, let my mind get diverted, or it is going to get fixed in my studies. This is the thing. So when you have made the mind for a few days, then it will be easy for you to focus. So have the intense fire in you of your goal that won't let you to rest. Yes, Babu.
Okay, I think we have one question from here, Dr. Sejal Jain. So she asks, sir, with everything changing so fast and quick every week, some other videos trending, so other news is the talk of the town. How to set up
Sorry,
organization that
it's
works
breaking.
automatically or have a which is okay, the
Actually, it's
double
breaking.
process.
Sorry. Can you repeat it?
Balaji, it is on your screen. If you
Okay.
see on your screen, yes, just below the our photos. Yeah.
So means to ask everything is changing. So everything definitely changes, and with time, change is permanent in this world. Everything changes except God and soul. Thus, except the soul, everything will change. Even see, Swami Vivekananda set up the organization; it keeps going. So if you have that, don't think that you are doing it. Consider yourself as an instrument in the hands of God to do it. Receive God's power and then do this organization. Then whatever you are planning, that won't change because you're receiving God's power. See, Swami Vivekananda, Ramakrishna, he considered himself as a servant. He considered himself as a humble servant of God, and he considered himself instrument in the hands of God. So that is God's work. He always says it's God's work, not mine. So when you consider it as God's work, it's a duty of God to take care of it. The whole world might change, but He will preserve that organization. So when you start something, whatever it is, when you do good for the humanity, see it as God's work and throw the burden on God. Don't think that I'm doing it. Think that God is doing it and throw the entire burden on God. Everything might change, the whole world might change, but God is not going to change. So if you have thrown the burden on Him, the one who never changes will never let what you have started in His name to change. The secret is to throw the burden on God. Regard yourself as a son, as a servant, an instrument in doing it. So everything changes. This is the world about. So weather changes, day changes into night. This change is permanent. What is change is permanent, and what actually never changes is that which has no beginning, which is the supreme power or the soul. So it never changes, but everything else changes. So what you do is throw the burden, and whenever you start something or organization, anything that you wish to do good for the humanity, say, God, this is your work. I'm an instrument. Please use me and let your divine power work through this body. And then what can stop it? If God is going to protect it, He is going to do it. He knows how to preserve it. He knows how to take care of it. Throw the burden on God.
Can I add to that,
Yes,
Navina?
please do.
Yeah. Uh, Dr. Jain, also ensure that whatever organization you start with has a meaningful purpose. If you have a meaningful purpose, whether videos come, things change, it is not going to matter. It is going to be there eternity, till eternity. And also, if you may say that today what is meaningful may not remain meaningful after 20 years, right? That will be the mark of leadership, that to identify those things and make those minor changes in the organization's purpose as you move ahead. So, and don't even get bothered about the fast track with which the media and whatever you see on the media is moving. That it is supposed to be fast. Every second things change. Don't worry on that. Just two words: meaningful purpose. And to my friend Ricky Kumar Shaw, I would just like to ask: do you play enough? Play a sport for 1 hour a day. You will find that you will automatically start concentrating on your studies, at least better than what you were doing earlier. Yes.
I also want to add to Sachin Thakur and Balaji's question, answer to the Dr. Sajal Jain. I just want to add, you said the things change. So the underlying thing should be the most important thing. The underlying thing is to serve the people. So you're not depending upon the external circumstances, the changing environment. Those things are bound to happen. Nobody can stop them. But the primary motive of any leader should be to serve, to enlighten, to move forward. So the changes are bound to be there, and it's a good thing that changes come. We cannot stay static to where we are. So we have to evolve, keep on evolving. The world is going to evolve. Everything is going to change. That is most welcome. So the thing is, we have to be adaptable and also keep the human amelioration in mind. The to help human being, that should be the primary motive. So come what may, things will change. That doesn't really matter. So that I think is very important. So the primary purpose should be there. Yeah, I just wanted to conclude with one example. I was trying to tell you how Indians we can organize. So I was just telling you an incident in a place called Ramanahalli near Mysore. They do an annual worship of Kali, local deity there. So during that period, so they raise about 1 crore rupees. They raise 1 crore rupees, and if you visit the village during those days, you'll be astonished. It's spotlessly clean, so well decorated. Everybody's full of joy, enthusiasm, devotion. So those things are there. So that brings about such a wonderful change for 3 to 4 days. But the problem with us is we are not able to make it more productive at a social level. So Ranganathan used to say that we have the spiritual potency in us. Everything we do in India, even a thief, when he steals, he does it religiously. Vivekananda used to say that. So we do everything religiously, but the same reverence we have to bring into work also and to become organized. So it may be a group of 2 people, 3 people. Vivekananda even says that a handful of people can move the whole world of its hinges, provided they are united in thought, word, and deed. Handful of people, he says, just 5 to 10 people. If they are really united in thought, word, and deed, they can move the whole world. So he always gave two importance to 2 things. One is that first we should become better, we should be competent, we should be unselfish, as Balaji already wonderfully explained, and then we have to coordinate and work together. That is one thing that we are lacking in India. So, whatever the great things that have happened, if you look at a company like Apple or so many big organizations in India, Tata also we have, yeah, they have learned their lessons, they are doing wonderfully well. But at our level also, there are so much to learn and to coordinate and work better. So that's one thing you should remember of Vivekananda, that organization, the coordination of wills, that is paramount. And today, Babu spoke about Parivar. Parivar is started by Vinayak Lohani Dada. So even if he doesn't go out, he has made a system which can bring daily education and bread to more than 50,000 children. That is organization. You should be able to do that. That's very important. So that can happen only when we don't hold on to powers. Vivekananda always said that our organization do not grow because we want to hold on to power. So we don't want to share the power with other people. So delegation of powers to different people so that they can work freely, they can become leaders. That's very important. So we have to build leaders. At the end of the day, our goal is not any kind of self-proclamation, but to see that the world is served, the God is served. So that purpose, if we keep in mind, and towards that we have to work. So in this work, we become better, and also the world, we contribute to the betterment of the world. That should be our attitude towards life and leadership in general. So anybody want to add anything today?
Yes, Anna. He asked about the
Yeah.
studies. I think I can share something that if it is if he is clear about like why he want to do that, or like why he's studying. If he if he give answer to his why, I think it becomes very clear. I'll share my this thing in very less time. Um, in my 1 month internship, I didn't use lift. uh, I use stairs because I feel that okay, if I use stairs, it consumes a lot of electricity, and electricity consumes a lot of pollution. So it is not that whether someone is seeing me or giving rewards or not. What matters is that if I do this, something is going to happen in a deep way. So I feel that that should not happen. I'm a strong boy. Swamiji says that you're strong, bold enough. So I should do that. Why this happened? See, going in lift is really cool thing, right? But maturity says that no, that you're a strong boy. You can take stairs. So my why is very clear. So that allows me to do that. Otherwise, I will be choosing lift. I go by my like transport, like service transport. I use bus rather than bike. I can have bike. My family can easily afford it. Already we have 4 bikes for 4 brothers. I'm the youngest, so I didn't prefer. Though my family suggests me to take a bike because we have an alternative, right? When I don't have alternative, I can't take it. My why is very clear. Though I have lot of struggles with road transport because they are not on time. It takes a lot of time. It stops at every bus stop. But my why is clear. It reduces somewhat pollution. It is not good. We have alternatives, so we should use that. So my why is clear. So even I face a lot of difficulties, it gives me satisfaction. So I think even in education, if you give why you are studying, if you study this, how this helps someone in future, then that gives you willpower and makes you focused on one thing. I hope I help you a little bit. That's it.
Yeah, I think it definitely helps to have a higher perspective to life. In fact, that is the whole motivation. Even they suggest that we should always have higher perspective to life. Ranganathananji used to say in his Gita commentary, that is the most celebrated verse of the Gita, Karmanya Vadikaraste Mapaleshu Kadachana. So, commenting on this particular verse of the Gita, Maharaj says, like, what is the meaning of this? I will work, I will not take the result. So, you want to study, I don't want what happens after the studies. So, the thing is to work with a holistic mind. That is, I work for others, I work for society, I work for the good of the world. If we take the attitude, our whole hearts will expand, our mind also will expand, our hands will work better. So, I think always, every time we do that, we really work better. We do everything better basically when we relate it to something higher. So this is called Vesti, that is limited self. The Samasti is the whole. So if you can relate your life to the whole, then I think you'll be able to definitely work, because it makes us guilty if we don't do that. So just imagine I have a hand. If my hand refuses to work, it may refuse to work, but when it considers that the whole body is affected, if the hand doesn't work, then it feels guilty and it starts to work. So we should also feel like that we are a part of this whole system. If we do not work, something is going to get affected. So this idea that we have a responsibility, we have a role to play, is something that's going to help us to work. So that should be one of the approaches to it. That's what we learn from the Bhagavad Gita and all that stuff. So it brings us to the end of this session. It's a wonderful session to reflect upon these ideas.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So,
I just happened to see this thing on YouTube, and that's how I could join it. But I want to be part of this thing. I mean, on a regular basis. So how can I do this?
okay. Okay, you can just. I will display a phone number. You just contact me, sir. We will add you to our own group, our
Yeah,
personal
please.
groups.
Yeah.
I'm going to add the number just now. You just note it down.
Okay.
Just send a message there. Yes.
So it brings us to the end of this session. I just want to recap a few points that our speakers mentioned today. So first point, Balaji mentioned the unselfishness. That is the very core of Swami Vivekananda's philosophy of leadership. We should be unselfish and we should serve. And then, as Praneeth mentioned, trying to see God in everyone. It's not only a lesson for leadership, but also a spiritual lesson, and also a lesson which will make our lives fulfilled. So it integrates everything. So That's the thing. And also, as Sachin Thakurji mentioned, to build an organization that goes on, whether we live or die. So to have that approach, to have that kind of idea, philosophy behind an organization is something that's very important that we learn from Vivekananda's life when he built that wonderful Ramakrishna movement. And look at this. It's not just Ramakrishna movement that he built. Of course, he built Ramakrishna Math in order so that the ideas are kept intact. But his inspiration is so big that it was through hundreds of organizations, as you said, rightly, lakhs of volunteers, and of course, of many people are being benefited. So that's the attitude we should take for leadership. And as Babu also mentioned, you can start small, wherever you are, whatever you are doing, start from there. Big things will come later. Swamiji always said that. Start where you are, big things will gradually come to you. And he says one thing, you should remember this, it has inspired me a lot. He says an orphanage with 2 children, 3 inmates, in time is going to become a shelter for hundreds of students or generations. So that's very important. So never mind if you have 10 rupees or 5 rupees to give to charity, you do that first. Then never mind if you have one person to work with and alone, no problem. Start with yourself. We have seen wonderful examples of results coming through just because one person stood out and started to do something, then the whole world follows him. Swamiji always said that the one person who thinks ahead of his time is often misunderstood and criticized, but finally the world follows him. So we have to take the responsibility on ourselves, do whatever we can, and think for our own selves. That's very important. I think Praneeth mentioned this point. Don't be one with the people. Don't be a sheep. And that's what we do. We do something because somebody is doing it. No individual thinking at all. That is not going to help us. Swamiji says, even if it's wrong, it's okay. You think for yourself. And only thinking can make us grow. So we have to think. It doesn't matter if it is wrong or right, but let us think on what we find it to be right. As when Bhagavan Buddha said, what you think is right, that you have to do. So let us not only discuss these things, but try to bring them into practice. I request you to kindly read through Swami Vivekananda's letters. They will give you a wonderful perspective of leadership. So, and also, you should read Colombo to Almora lectures that will tell you how to build the country on those wonderful lines. So, really extraordinary, always wonderful to talk about Vivekananda's ideas. We can keep on talking for hours together. We extend the time, but it never tires us. And hopefully, we all arise awake and we will not stop until the goal is reached. So, thanks a lot for joining us today. We look forward to be with you again tomorrow. So, it was really wonderful, just thinking of these thoughts, it makes me wonderful. So thanks a lot and Jai Ramakrishna.
Jai Ram.
Jai Ram Krishna.
Jai Ram Krishna.
Ram.
Jai Ramakrishna.